Hello everybody and welcome to episode 4 of Undertale English and Japanese comparison. Last time we did some sightseeing in Snowdin, Snowful. We fought Papyrus and we became friends with him. In this episode, how about we accept Papyrus's invitation to his house? And before we get to what you all probably really want to see, aka the date, there are some minor differences to some of the dialogue in the Skeleton Brothers' house. For example, Papyrus's rather odd choice of words in his greeting, "Welcome to Scenic My House," got changed to "Fukoumeibi na my home" in Japanese. When you go into the kitchen and take a look at the fridge, in English Papyrus comments, "Interested in my food museum? Please peruse my culinary art show." グルメの俺様の食料事情に興味があるんだな。Are you interested in the state of food of a gourmet like me? The meddling canine that steals Papyrus's bones was translated as Zuzushi Inu, insolent dog. Then what Papyrus says to Sans after he plays his trombone, "Stop plaguing my life with incidental music," became "俺様の日常に BGM つけるのやめて. Stop giving my life background music." Once in Papyrus's room, if you check the box of bones in the corner, he says, "Hey, those are all the attacks I used on you." What he says in Japanese is just a tiny bit different. He says, それは貴様への攻撃に使った骨だ. These are the bones I used to attack you. And if you check the bookshelf, the book Advanced Puzzle Construction for Critical Minds got its title changed a bit. こだわる人のパズル制作講座上級編, which is something like Puzzle Construction Course for People Who Care, Advanced Edition. There's also a slight change to the "There are no skeletons inside my closet" line. 押し入れにお化けはいないよ, or "There are no monsters inside my closet." The word used for monsters here refers to them in general sense. The word obake is used to refer to ghosts or demons, things like that. The word used for the monsters in the game is just monster. And now we can move on to the date. First of all, the line "You can't spell prepared without several letters from my name" naturally had to be changed for the Japanese version to work. So now Papyrus says, 俺様のモットーは用意周到. My motto is thorough preparation. And you know how there's this whole exchange starting with Papyrus saying, "You're wearing clothing right now." This whole thing sounds a bit, let's say, more normal in Japanese. Here he says, まさに素敵な服装ではないか. Aren't you wearing a lovely outfit right now? Then, earlier today you were also wearing clothing, became 貴様はずっと前からすでに素敵な服装をしていた. You were wearing pretty clothes earlier today as well. And so on and so on. In English, this whole thing sounds a bit funny because, of course, you're wearing clothing, it's not like you're just going around the monster world naked. But in Japanese, instead, he compliments you on wearing pretty clothes, which sounds pretty standard for a date. Also, the tension meter that appears at around this point of the date got translated as piri piri geji, where piri piri is onomatopoeia for nervous or on edge. Yes, I know they have an onomatopoeia for that. Then when Papyrus asks you for a comment about his secret style, the answers you can pick from are a bit different. In English you can say either love it or hate it. In Japanese it's ine, nice, or dasai ne, lame. During the segment where you have to inspect various parts of Papyrus's outfit, if you examine his shoes, in English he says, "Human souls are stronger than monster souls, but the soles of our shoes on the other hand are about the same." Obviously this pun wouldn't have worked in Japanese, so here he says, "Ore-sama no kutsu ni himitsu ga aru to? Zannen nagara, sore wa shikureto shuzu de wa nai." Is there a secret in my shoes? Unfortunately, these are not secret shoes. Yes, I know. It's a bit of a disappointment. Finally, at the end of the date, there are slight changes to a few more things Papyrus says. For example, "I have only drawn you deeper into your intense love for me" became "Kisama no kimochi ni hi o tsukete shimatta." Just something like "I set fire to your feelings." "A dark prison of passion with no escape" was translated as "Deguchi no nai ai no ori ni toraete shimatta no da." "I captured you in a cage of love with no exit," which is pretty much the same thing, just said a bit differently. There's also a rather big change in tone to the "I'll help you settle for second best" line. So in Japanese it sounds a lot nicer. He says, "2番目に素敵な人ときっと幸せになれるよ," which translates to "I'm sure you'll be able to become happy with the second best person." And that's all for the date with Papyrus. Unfortunately, the end result is the same in both versions. Now before we move on to Waterfall, let's grab something to eat with Sans first. Though the scene in Grillby's is mostly unchanged in Japanese, there are some slight differences here and there. For example, when in English, Sans comments on Papyrus's costume with "You'd be cool too if you wore that outfit every day," in Japanese it's "Anta mo ano kostyumu o kireba iketeru star ni nareru," which is more like "You'd be a star too if you wore that costume." Where Sans says at least he washes it, and by that I mean he wears it in the shower, in Japanese, Sans specifies that Papyrus washes the costume every day. Chanto mainichi aratteru kara. It's not a big difference, but it's kind of interesting that the everyday part is missing from the previous line that I mentioned, and it appeared here instead. There's also a pun on bon appetit here, where Sans says bon appetit instead, and this pun is still the same in the Japanese version. I know, another disappointment. And I think we're going to stop here for this episode. In the next one we'll be finally moving into the next area. I know, it took a while. So, see you next time.